Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today. This time we are going to do yet another sake review, and I always enjoy reviewing these for you on the channel. These Japanese sakes are made by little family run companies, and they're even more handmade, I guess you could say, than a lot of the craft beers I review. You know, it's a very precise and very kind of delicate procedure to actually make these. For this review we are going to go for the first time to Iwate Prefecture, and we're having a taste of my first sake from Asabiraki Shuzo this time. So this one is a special sake that they brewed for the new year of 2019, but I believe you guys will see this review at the very start of February 2019. So for this one, as I say, we're going to go to Asabiraki Shuzo, and we're having a taste of their Funade Daiginjo. So this one comes in at 15% ABV. The Daiginjo means that this one, the rice that they use in the fermentation here, is milled down to 50% of its original size. Essentially they take away a lot of the stuff on the outside and use the kind of good stuff in the middle for the fermentation process. And since it's a New Year's sake, they've also added in a little bit of kind of gold leaf and things, and you're supposed to put just a little bit of this in the glass before you drink it. So I'm going to do a little taste test of this one just now, and then I'm going to go and share it with my Chico's family a little bit later on in the day for this. But yeah, this one should be very nice. Junmai Daiginjo, so pure rice, 50% milled grain. So I think this one will be a really awesome sake. You know, the Daiginjos are the ones that are a little bit lighter in the body, and they do tend to be a little bit sweeter as well. So I think this one will be very interesting. So I hope you guys enjoy my take on it as well. As I say, I'm not an expert when it comes to sake tasting, but it's something that I really do enjoy, and I think I do have a good palate from all the beer and whiskey tastings that I've done for you. So we'll see how we get on with this. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Asabiraki Shuzo. Very first time I'm trying one of their products. Of course, they do some craft beers as well, so hopefully I can review those for you in the future. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beers and sakes and whiskies and stuff based on county, prefecture, city, state, country, whatever it is you're interested in. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some other beers, sakes and whiskies and stuff like that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Asabiraki Shuzo then. So as I mentioned to you earlier, these guys are from Iwate Prefecture, and they're from Morioka City, which apparently is the capital city, and also renowned for its water and its rice as well. So the company was established back in 1871 by Genzo Murai, who was a samurai of the Nanbu clan, but it's stayed in his family since then, and it's now owned today by Yoshitaka Murai, and I think it's in this, like the 13th generation or something like this. As I've mentioned many a time, these sake breweries do tend to pass down the family generations in the same way that the German beer breweries and things like that do. So this is one of the other reasons why I really like reviewing these sakes for you. But the name Asabiraki apparently comes from a poem that blessed the departure of the Manyoshu ship, which dates back to the Nara period in Japan back in the 8th century. So they wrote a poem specially for this ship leaving, and the Asabiraki name comes from this poem. But the technique of sake brewing that these guys used is called Nanbu, and it's been used in Iwate for over 300 years. Essentially the idea is that they want to create a good aroma and a sharp finish using like lower temperature fermentations and also a longer period fermentation as well. And the current brewmaster is Fuji Masahiko, and he's won a lot of different awards. I think it was saying on the website he'd won like 19 awards at the national sake competition in Japan, which is very impressive. And they're a very well regarded sake brewery as well, from what I gather. But they also brew their own beers, as I mentioned earlier, and they also own the Stella Monte restaurant, which is also in Morioka City as well, in Iwate Prefecture. So if you find yourself up there, you can check that out. And as I say, a very, very well regarded sake brewery, this one, by the sounds of it. It's a little bit difficult to find different information and things on these sake breweries. There are kind of small snippets and things like that on the internet, but pretty much most of them are very, very small family run businesses that just pass down the generations, and a lot of them seem to start up kind of around the time of the Meiji Restoration, which, if I'm remembering correctly, was around 1872. It's kind of around the late 1860s, early 1870s that the Meiji Restoration took place, and you know, Japan really started to industrialise around that time. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Asabiraki Shuzo just now. As I say, very, very well regarded sake brewery from Iwate Prefecture. And I'll just let you have a little look at this quickly before we kind of open the sake up. So as I mentioned to you, there's a little bit of kind of gold leaf in here, and this is basically specially saved for the you know, this is specially saved for actually putting in the glass and celebrating on New Year, and it is New Year's Day today in Japan, so we're going to have, we'll see if we can have a little bit of this along with the sake. I'll just kind of open this up, and we'll see if we can get it on. So there we go. Just take the little top off of this, and there we go. So yeah, as I was mentioning earlier with this sake, it's a 15% Daiginjo. The main types of sake are, of course, Honjozo, which they add a little bit of distilled alcohol to, and they also have, there's Junmai, which is pure rice, and they have Ginjo, which is 60% milled, the rice is milled down to 60% of its original size, and they also have the Daiginjo, where the rice is milled down to around 50% of its original size. So I'm just going to try and get one or two little flakes of this in here for this tasting. As I mentioned, this could be a little bit delicate. Let's just see. There we go. Come on, in you go. There's, yeah. I think, you know, yeah, this will do for the moment. Actually, this will definitely do. A little bit of gold flake on this one, so I'll save the rest and taste that with Michiko's family a little bit later. But there you go. Really nice looking one, this. And so yeah, let's get this guy out. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork again before we open it up. There you can see, nicely presented whistling, Asabiraki. This of course is all kanji, this one. I'm not an expert on kanji when it comes to Japanese. I'm far better at the hiragana and the katakana, but I guess most gaijins in Japan would say that. So let's take this out and we'll get on with the tasting then. I think this is going to be one of these ones that's a little bit of a pain to open up, but I wanted this bottle to look quite nice for the video, so I maybe should have opened this up earlier on, so I do apologise for the extra time taken to open this up for the video. But yeah, there you can see the bottle cap on this one, a little bit of kanji and things like that on there, but yeah, nicely presented. So let's get it out and we'll get on with the video then. There we go. There we go, let's take it off. Yeah, finally, get it open. So yeah, let's put a little bit into this into the glass and see how we get on. Spilt a little bit there, but as you can see, this is very, very nice. So yeah, as you can see with this one then, this one's actually poured very, very clear, and generally the Daiginjos do tend to be very, very clear. And you can see a little bit, you can really see just how clear this sake actually is there. I'm just checking on the camera control that you can see that nicely. But yeah, crystal clear here. You can see these little gold flakes just floating around in the top. A few of them are sinking towards the bottom there. But yeah, it looks very, very nice, this one. You know, the colour of sake does tend to be pretty clear. You know, some of them can be a little bit of a slightly, you know, yellowy colour and things like this, but yeah, usually crystal clear. And there's usually a little bit of colour difference, from what I understand, between the ginjos and the daiginjos. I think the daiginjos are usually a little bit kind of clearer in terms of their colour than the ginjo ones, but yeah, usually very, very clear, kind of watery colour things. The nigoris, of course, as you saw in the last video, tend to be almost milky in terms of their appearance. So the things, as I've mentioned to you before, that we should rate sake on is floralness, fruity quality, earthiness, sweetness, dryness, acidity, impact, and also the tail as well. These are the things that we should look at when we are rating sake. As I've mentioned in my other videos, I'm no expert when it comes to sake tasting, but I just really enjoy doing these videos and kind of documenting my learning process when it comes to Nihonshu, of course. But yeah, 15% Daiginjo, as I say, 50%. The rice grain is milled down to 50% before it goes through the senmai, the washing, and yeah, it looks very nice. A little bit of gold flake in this one. I'm not sure how well you can see that in the camera. You can see a little bit of them floating around, but let's get stuck into this one then and just see how we get on. So on the nose, yeah, on the nose, this one comes across nice and sweet. It's definitely got a little bit of a citrusy character to it. Of course, the rice in every prefecture is different, and even in every town it's different. It's due to the soil, due to the water, the nutrients in the soil, all of these kind of things, and even just the type of plant that they grow the rice in. Right enough, is, you know, there's lots of different varieties of rice. To me, this one comes across, it has a little tiny bit of a kind of acidity to it, to be honest. There's a little bit of this. There's almost a little touch of an earthy note in this one as well. And the earthiness that you'll get in sake, right enough, is very different from the earthiness you'll get in craft beers and whiskies and stuff like this. But definitely a little hint of earthiness in this one. And there's also a little bit of there's definitely a little bit of sweetness in there as well. There's definitely a little bit of a kind of grassy note. Not so much floral quality in this one, but it has got a nice little fruity note as well. I can't place exactly what fruity quality is, fruit exactly it is that's coming out of this one, but for me, definitely fruity, a little touch of earthiness in there, definitely a little touch of a sort of grassy floral type thing, and definitely some sweetness too. It smells really nice, this one. I really just want to taste it now. So let's have a taste of this sake and see how we get on. So this is the Funade Daiginjo, brewed for the new year 2019 by Asabiraki Shuzo in Iwate Prefecture, Morioka City, here in Japan. Let's get stuck in. Slanja, Skull, Kampai. You can maybe hear some of the kids screaming outside. But yeah, this is really nice. This is a beautiful sake. Yeah, the first thing you're going to notice with these Daiginjos compared to the others, they are lighter in the mouthfeel, and it's just due to how much they mill the grain, the rice grain down, and how kind of pure it is, I guess you could say. So with the Daiginjos, they always feel just a little bit lighter. The Ginjos are just a little bit heavier and more oily in their mouthfeel. So with this one, I would say this is nice. This one really is leaning more towards the kind of sweeter and oily side of things for me. It's not got a lot of dryness to it, this one, at all, actually. It is more oily and kind of sweet. Yeah, so there's a nice little bit. This one, for me, this one is really, it's got a nice little bit of sweetness to it. In the middle of your palate, you can really feel the sweetness, and it gets sweeter and sweeter the further into the aftertaste you go. This is one, I think, that definitely kind of sweetens up the further you go into the aftertaste. The impact on this one, for me, is quite mild. You know, it comes in, it's got a little tiny bite to it, but not very much at all. It just smooths out, and this is one of these sakes that I think is very, very subtle in what it's trying to do. The flavours in this one are definitely a little bit more subtle in the beginning. I mean, this one comes in, it's nice and oily, and as I say, the little subtleties in the aftertaste of this one are really where the complexities come out. I can't remember offhand if this is what I found with the Daiginjos before, but for me, the complexity in the flavour of this one is most definitely in the aftertaste. So as I say, you take this one in, it comes in, not really much bite to it at all, but then it just smooths out really quite nicely, and it's got a little bit of that kind of oily mouthfeel to it. and then it starts to sweeten up in the middle of your palate. That's where the real kind of the sort of ricey sweetness is kind of coming out. There is a good bit of grassiness to this one. Around the edge of the palate, there's a little bit of a floral kind of grassy quality to the sake in this one, and it's nice how everything kind of goes together in this. I like how these nice little grassy floral side of things are kind of coming out in this one. But yeah, you've also got a little bit of a citrusy note to this one, and I think it's a sort of, again, I keep wanting to say with these sakes that it's apricot, but for me it's got a little bit of a kind of pineapple-y, apricot-y sort of thing kind of coming out there, which is really nice. And everything goes together. I mean, the sakes have a very small flavour scope in comparison to the craft beers and things like that, and it's all about how these flavours mix together. So for me, a little bit, I think there is a bit of an apricot-y flavour to this one. There's a little bit of pineapple or something in there as well, and it's also got these nice kind of grassy floral notes coming out as well. Not a lot of earthiness to this one for me at all. The earthiness really isn't there. This one isn't very acidic either, I don't think. I would definitely say there's not much acidity in this one. But yeah, the complexity and the flavour for me is all in the tail, and you can feel at the front of your palate, there's just almost a little bit of a juicy, oily quality comes out of this one towards the front of your tongue, and that's really nice. How everything kind of goes together on that. The way that the tail comes across in this one is very nice. The impact with this one is not that much, but the tail is really where a lot of these different kind of complexities come out in this. It's got a little bit of alcohol warmth, this one as well, I would say. It's really just nice, and I love that how with these they all have their different little niches. For me, not so much impact, a little bit of grassiness, a little bit of floralness, very clean in its mouthfeel. In the centre of your palate, it is pretty much a nice kind of clean ricey sweetness that comes out of this, and you've also got a little bit of that grassy floral thing around the edge of your palate too. This for me, the Daiginjos I think are a lot more kind of subtle in their flavours. I think the Nigoris and the Ginjos and maybe the Honjosos as well have a little bit more impact to them, but the Daiginjos are a little bit more about the kind of subtleties and things like that. So bear that in mind if you are choosing different sakes and stuff to buy. But to me, this is very, very nice. It's a little bit more, maybe my palate for this one isn't quite as refined as it should be to taste something like this. As I say, this is one that they brewed specially for the new year of 2019. In terms of its mouthfeel, to me this is a very, very smooth sake. It's slightly more oily in comparison to some of the other ones that I've had. It's very, very clean in its mouthfeel. It's the Nigoris and the other things like that can feel just a little bit thicker than this, but to me, very, very clean, a little bit more oily in terms of its thing, and it's got a little bit of that nice floral quality there. It's not a very dry one, this, although I would say in the tail end it can become just a little bit drier in terms of its flavour profile. But overall, again, another lovely, lovely sake, and I like it how with something that's got such a kind of narrow flavour profile, if you like, that you can get a hell of a lot of different things out of that. I mean, as I say, compared to craft beer, these sakes, their flavour scope is a lot narrower because you don't have as many different styles and things like that with them, but you really can get the same level of complexity out of them, if that makes sense at all. But yeah, this is a lovely sake, definitely a little bit kind of sweeter in things. This is definitely a more kind of sweet and floral sake compared to some of the other ones that I've had. But yeah, it's lovely. I mean, I like trying these, and it's just another little hobby that I always enjoy reviewing for you guys here on the channel. So if you do get the chance to try this, I think you'll enjoy it. Sake, as I say, is something that I really want to get more into because I really, really enjoy the different kind of flavours and stuff that you can get from these. But let's leave it at that for this. I think I've said all that I can about this one. I would rate this one as a slightly sweeter sake, a little bit of floral quality in there, some nice fruity notes as well, but this one for me is all about the tail end and how these flavours, these kind of more complexities, come out in the tail end. But yeah, let's leave it at that. So yeah, this was the Funade Daiginjo from Asabiraki Shuzo in Morioka City in Iwate Prefecture here in Japan. Another lovely sake. The Daiginjos, as I mentioned to you, are a little bit more about the kind of subtle flavours, but yeah, very, very nice. and I thank you once again for watching my videos. So yeah, if you get the chance to try some of the sakes from this brewery, they've got a lot of awards and they seem to be very, very highly regarded here in Japan, so you can't really go wrong with these guys. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching my reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite sakes are from Asabiraki Shuzo, and hopefully I can return to these guys in the near future. This one is a new year one brewed for 2019. I'm not sure how widely available this is going to be, but let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below, and I hope you've enjoyed this review. You will see more sake reviews over the coming months, and we'll just see how we go with these, because I really enjoy doing these reviews for you. But until the next time, Slanger just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Funade Daiginjo from Asabiraki Shuzo in Morioka City in Iwate Prefecture in Japan. Slanger, Skull, Kampai.